Today I want to talk to you about something that truly defines the success of both teaching and learning: the art of setting realistic goals for your students. You see, as teachers, we all want our students to aim high, to dream big, and to achieve excellence. But at the same time, we need to make sure those dreams are not just fantasies, they must be rooted in reality. Because when goals are realistic, they become achievable. And when they are achievable, they create motivation, confidence, and consistent growth. Now let's imagine you're standing in your classroom on the first day of the term. You look around and see faces filled with curiosity, nervousness, and hope. Some students are confident, others shy, and a few are struggling silently. This is where your role as a teacher begins, to guide each of them not just to learn but to grow through realistic goals. Realistic goals are the foundation of effective learning. They are like stepping stones across a river, each one close enough for students to step on confidently without falling into frustration or giving up halfway. If the stones are too far apart, they lose balance. If they're too close, there's no challenge. The right balance is what makes learning progress meaningful. So how do we set realistic goals for students? The first step is to understand your students deeply. Every student in your classroom is different. Different backgrounds, learning styles, paces, and interests. A single goal cannot fit everyone. An effective teacher takes time to observe, listen, and understand where each student stands. Are they struggling with basic concepts? Are they fast learners who get bored easily? Are they motivated by praise or by personal challenge? When you know your students, you can set goals that are both achievable and motivating for them. Let me give you a simple example. Suppose you're teaching English and your goal is to help students write an essay. For one student, the goal could be to write a well-structured paragraph. For another, it might be to improve vocabulary. For an advanced learner, it could be to write an argumentative essay with evidence. See how one learning objective can have different realistic goals based on individual needs. This approach helps every student feel that they are improving and not just competing. The second step is to use the SMART goal method: specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time-bound. When we tell students do better in class, that's too vague. But when we say, in the next 2 weeks, improve your reading comprehension score by 10%, now that's specific and measurable. It gives direction and a sense of purpose. The word realistic in SMART is crucial. It reminds us not to set goals that are too easy or too hard. If a student consistently scores 50%, telling them to reach 95% next week is not realistic. It only leads to pressure and disappointment. But asking them to reach 60% by the next test, that's achievable and motivating. Small wins build confidence, and confidence builds success. The third step is involving students in goal setting. Too often, teachers decide all the goals on behalf of students. But when students participate in setting their own targets, they feel ownership and accountability. You can start a class discussion. What do you want to achieve by the end of this term? How can we measure your progress? Let them reflect. When students verbalize their goals, they begin to see learning as a personal journey, not just a task assigned by the teacher. The fourth key to setting realistic goals is breaking big goals into smaller milestones. Imagine telling your class, by the end of the year, you should master algebra. That's overwhelming. But if you say, this month we'll master linear equations, next month we'll move to quadratic equations, it becomes structured and manageable. Every small milestone achieved gives students a sense of accomplishment and keeps them motivated for the next step. Also, teachers should remember the importance of feedback and reflection. Goals are not static. They need to be revisited and adjusted as students progress. After each unit, ask yourself, are my students meeting the targets? Are some struggling? If yes, modify the goal, slow down, or use a different teaching approach. Realistic goals are flexible, not rigid. They evolve with your students' growth. Empathy also plays a huge role here. When setting goals, remember that students are human beings, not machines. They have off days, personal struggles, and different emotional capacities. A good teacher understands that learning is not linear. Sometimes progress slows down, and that's okay. The goal is to move forward, even if it's one small step at a time. Let's also talk about motivation. When students see their goals as reachable, they stay motivated. But when they constantly fail to meet unrealistic expectations, they give up mentally. That's why celebration of small achievements matters so much. A simple, "well done" or "you've improved" can reinforce the idea that effort brings progress. Now, one of the most powerful things a teacher can do is connect goals with purpose. Students must know why they are working toward a certain goal. For example, if the goal is to read 5 books this semester, connect it with how reading builds imagination, vocabulary, and confidence. When students see the purpose, they see value, and when they see value, they commit more deeply. Another strategy is differentiated goal setting. In a diverse classroom, you cannot expect everyone to perform at the same level. Some students might need academic goals, while others might benefit more from behavioral or emotional goals. For instance, one student's goal could be to complete all homework on time, while another's could be to participate in class discussion twice a week. Both are realistic and meaningful for their development. As teachers, we must also remember that goals should be positive and empowering, not restrictive or fear-based. Instead of saying, "don't get below 70%, say, "aim to score above 70%. The wording matters because it creates a growth mindset rather than a fear of failure. Students thrive when they feel supported, not judged. In the process of setting goals, self-reflection is key for both teachers and students. Ask your students to reflect regularly. What did I learn this week? What can I improve next week? Reflection helps students understand their progress and areas of improvement, which makes goals more meaningful and realistic. Now let's talk about something many teachers overlook: adaptability. The classroom is a living, breathing space where unexpected things happen all the time. You might plan a perfect lesson, but a few students may still struggle. That's normal. Being adaptable means being ready to adjust your goals and methods based on student response. Realistic goals are flexible enough to grow with circumstances. To make this practical, here's how you can apply this in your classroom. Start each term by having students write down their goals. Then, as a class, discuss what makes a goal realistic. Guide them to refine their statements, make them measurable, achievable, and time-bound. Revisit these goals weekly or monthly. Ask students what progress they made and what challenges they faced. This reflection helps them take ownership of their growth and teaches responsibility. You can also use visual goal trackers, simple charts, progress bars, or even stickers. When students see their progress visually, it reinforces motivation. Small rewards, certificates, or verbal praise can make a big difference in keeping the energy alive. Another point to consider is teacher modeling. Students learn from what they see. If you, as a teacher, share your own goals, for example, "My goal this semester is to make lessons more interactive," students see that goal setting is not just for them, but for everyone who wants to grow. It humanizes you and builds trust. Also, be careful not to compare students. Comparison kills confidence. Each child's progress is unique. Encourage them to compete with themselves, not others. The true goal of education is growth, not ranking. Lastly, let us understand that setting realistic goals is not about lowering expectations. It's about building achievable steps toward excellence. You can still have high aspirations for your students, but you get there through gradual, steady improvement. The key is progress, not perfection. A student who believes, "I can do this," will always go further than one who feels, "I'll never make it." And it's the teacher's job to make them believe in that possibility. In conclusion, setting realistic goals for your students is both a science and an art. It requires observation, empathy, communication, and adaptability. When done right, it transforms the classroom from a place of stress into a space of growth. Every student starts to see learning as achievable, meaningful, and exciting. So next time you walk into your classroom, remember this: teaching is not about making students reach the impossible. It is about showing them that the possible is within their reach. Step by step, day by day, realistic goals turn ordinary learners into confident achievers.